Hello. How to stop being so obsessed with exercise. I'm going to give you some facts, give you some context and some signs, as well as some tips. So, I'm a personal trainer. I know the science about exercise and how to work out effectively and strength training and cardio and mobility. And I know from my own personal experience, having dealt with an eating disorder and working with people who have or are in recovery with an eating disorder or disordered eating and exercise, because it's not always the same. I know how important it is to not only focus on what you're doing, but how you're doing it and why. Intention is so important when it comes to health. You could be doing all the right things, quote unquote, ticking all the boxes, filling in all the circles, checking all the empty boxes. But if your whole person is not being addressed, your mind, your emotions, your body, your social aspect, then it's impossible to really be fully healthy. And health is about enjoyment, and health is about living life. So I want to give you some tips. If you clicked on this, and you're not just someone who listens to all my episodes, but if you clicked on this and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I want to address this more, there's a reason. So I'm glad that you're here. Know that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing to be ashamed about. And I hope that this episode is nourishing and encouraging and affirming and supportive for you. Okay, let's dive in. I'm reading this book called The Joy of Movement. And I'm learning a lot of cool facts about exercise and how it works. And while it's not the same as a drug, our bodies are biologically designed to enjoy movement. If you think about little babies, one of the first things, there's crying, there's sleeping, there's eating, there's shitting, and then there's moving. As soon as the baby's old enough, like the wiggling, the coming in touch with their bodies, their little hands. And once they can, babies love to crawl and walk and move, each to varying degrees. But our bodies crave movement. It's a part of our biology. It's a part of who we are as humans. Movement is an integral part of us. You've probably, how much have you moved today so far? Even if it's just getting up, standing up, or stretching after you woke up from your sleep, or maybe you did a workout, or you went on a walk, or you went from point A to point B. All of this is movement. And our bodies reward us in our brain biologically because it's good for us. Our bodies thrive on movement. It's good for our blood flow. It's good for our heart. It's good for our brains. It's good for our bones. It's good for us. Movement is good for us. And some people are more biologically inclined to enjoy exercise. It could be considered a genetic trait like so many other things. And studies show, like the research done on mice and little rats, that exercise can absolutely be addictive. It takes a little bit longer for our bodies to, if you're going from an inactive state where you're not really working out or exercising regularly to more active, it takes about 6 weeks for your body to adjust, for you to actually feel really good. So if you've ever taken a break from exercise or you've never done exercise and then you started getting regular movement, you might understand this feeling of whoa, this feels good. This feels good. And then what happens too, and I'm going to get into this, is we start to tell the story of, oh, wow, I'm someone who likes exercise. I'm someone who actually enjoys this. And there's a feeling of pride and enjoyment because you're oh, I thought I didn't like this, but I finally found something that I enjoy and this feels good. And there's a sense of pride and identity associated with that because our society does reward those who are active and those who exercise. But just physically, it takes about 6 weeks to get used to it. And there is a risk too, because those studies have also shown, both in people and in little rodents, that especially for running or maybe more addictive exercises like that, like higher intensity walking, which is running, that the more underfed we are, the more we crave it. So there can be a place where it stops being helpful. And this is where overtraining comes into play or compulsion comes into play. I'll give you some, I'll come up in a little bit and share a little bit more about that. But it can be counterproductive. So they found that when they would starve mice and the mice were running, they would crave running even more. So like they were running more and they were eating less. And that could be a survival response from, years, millions and billions of years ago, however long, when we needed to hunt more when we were underfed. Like if we're hungry and we're not finding food, I need something in our body needs to rev up. But in a modern day, when we don't need that, when food is more readily available, it can be really unhelpful when that is sustained for a long time, when you're under eating and overtraining. So we know that our brains reward exercise, and we also know that it can be unhelpful. Not everyone who has an eating disorder has this overtraining compulsion or this compulsion with exercise, whatever you want to call it. I don't like to use the term addiction because that's a separate thing, especially if we're talking about drugs. But like people say food is addictive, I don't like to say that. That's not the same. Food and sugar, whatever, exercise is not the same necessarily as other addictions. It works in a little bit of a different way in our bodies. Just like food is not medicine and exercise is not therapy. They might be therapeutic, they might feel medicinal, but we have to be careful with definitions and how we relate to things and understand things and see things, so we don't fall into a trap of over-equating. But our society, and this is really true for people who tend to be overachievers or like a feeling of accomplishment or competition, and maybe you have a period in your life where you can relate to this more than others because we shift throughout our lives. But a lot of us enjoy exercise or being identified as someone who exercises because it gives us a sense of productivity. It gives us a sense of accomplishment or success. I know this has been true for me, and we reward it. So if you think about those like before and after pictures, it's like, oh, if you don't exercise, you're lazy, you're a bum, you're unhealthy, you're too busy, you're not prioritizing yourself, blah, 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 all those narratives around not exercising. Oh, but if you exercise regularly, oh, you're so good. And yes, it's beneficial to move our bodies in different ways. We know that. And it can be an identity around the pursuit of health as being more valuable inherently than those who are not in pursuit of health. And that's a more social connection there that exists, especially in American culture. There's whether you've noticed it or not, and see if you can, I think I've mentioned this in my podcast before, that there's a cycle, like a cultural cycle of guilt and penance around food and exercise that not all cultures have. And if you've traveled to different places around the world, you might notice that, walking and movement might be an inherent part of just living. And it's not necessarily directly correlated with eating. So if in America, you've probably heard, and I've talked about this, the dirty fitness rant you didn't know you needed. If you want a refreshment around just detox around fitness culture that is not healthy, go listen to that. You might want to repeat some things, you might want to shout, you might want to say yes, you might want to laugh at some things. So that's a good one if you want to get some of that out of your system. I enjoyed doing that one. But guilt and penance is a big part of I will say specifically, I'm an American culture where it's I'm going to eat the bad food, I'm going to eat, oh, I shouldn't eat that, oh, I'm going to give in, oh, I ate the dessert. Okay, now I need to go walk a little extra tomorrow, or I need to, burn this off. Or, oh, I've been so lazy this week, I haven't done enough exercise, so next week I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to go harder. Oh, I ate, quote unquote bad food, or I was eating junk food. I was on vacation and now I'm going to do a cleanse. And all of these cycles in a mild way might be at best somewhat harmful, but at worst can be extremely, I will say, deadly, because it can cause, the mindset around disordered eating behaviors that can actually lead to death. So being aware of that, and how we have this hate-love relationship with food, as well as this hate-love relationship with exercise. And there's so much more I could say around how exercise is seen as punishment. Exercise is seen as something to dread. Exercise has such a narrow definition in most of our minds. Exercise means going to the gym and doing an hour-long workout, or exercise means like working hard and getting a sweat on. Whereas movement, if we broaden that definition, can mean so many things. I'm moving right now as I'm moving my hands. And when we can let go of some of that narrowness and that strictness in the way we see things, it really frees us to take off a lot of pressure. And this is what I do in my work. So in the 4-H method, we start with rest, and then we move on to movement and recreating a different way of approaching and being with movement in your body. And if you do identify as someone who's been obsessed with exercise, or currently feeling obsessed with exercise, like it feels like it might be an issue for you, and I'll get into some signs next, the 4-H method is great for that. I also have the 30-day radical renewal, which helps you. It's a little bit shorter version, a little bit shorter in that. So really, general guidelines for movement. Some people are surprised that it's too low or too much, but really 150 minutes of moderate exercise is enough for just staying healthy. So that translates to how much? 140 divided by 7, it's like 20 something, 22 minutes of moderate exercise. That's like going for a brisk walk, or, dancing, or doing a sport, like nothing super intense. Or 75 minutes of higher intensity movement. That's like 10 minutes a day of maybe doing faster running, or doing something like a harder workout. So it's really, if you consider how much time we have in a day, it's really not that much. 10 to 20 minutes a day average is sufficient for maintaining your health. So in light of that, if you feel like, whoa, that's like way too little, or I would never let myself do that little. Or maybe you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I want to exercise more. And you're like, oh, that's not bad. That's actually like, okay, I could do that. This is just to give you, that perspective of how much is actually healthy or needed for general health. Unless you're, training for, you're an athlete for something. And I hope that you get the support that you need to do that in a way where you can get enough recovery and rest and fuel. So how do you know if you are being obsessed with exercise, if it is unhealthy? And again, I'm not going to give you numbers around like, oh, if you're working out 2 hours a day, then you are absolutely unhealthy. Or if you have this kind of workout or exercise regimen, then you are in a bad place. I'm not going to give you that, but I'm going to ask you to reflect on how it feels and what your behaviors are and what you notice. So there are different factors, but I'm going to give you 4 that might point to an unhealthy relationship with exercise, feeling obsessed. And again, this is not a judgment. This is nothing to be ashamed about. I just gave you some facts that I hope reduce some of that. And I want to see you in this, because I've seen it in myself and I see it in others, and it's not a fun place to be. It's not like we always want it. There's something that draws us towards it where it feels like we can't help it. And then it controls our lives, and it feels unpleasant. So I'm sending you some compassion as I share this. So number one is it feels compulsive. And you have to be really honest with yourself, because of fitness culture, we glorify exercise and being like working hard so much that we can confuse that. So if you work out regularly, you're probably going to get praised. But sometimes it can be compulsive where it's like you have to do it. You have to do it. And if you, the next one, it's a little bit different. But if you don't do it, you don't feel good. It feels like whether there's a specific distance or time or calories or any other measure of intensity or a factor involved around exercise, you feel like you have to do it. And so a good question for you is, how would it feel if I went, let's say, a week without exercising the way that I exercise now? Like, how would I deal with that? Would that feel super scary? Would I feel so out of control? Would my whole, like, my mood be shifted? What if you spent a month not working out in the way that you're used to? How does that feel for you to think of that? Like, if you're a runner, no running, or if you have a regular routine, you're not going to do that. How does that feel? Does it feel very scary? That could be a good sign that your relationship could be compulsive. Another sign is you need exercise to regulate yourself. And of course, we know that exercise is so good for depression and anxiety and our mood, and we get those endorphins, and our bodies need and love movement. Yes, 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 yes. And does it feel like if you don't get your workout, your mood is ruined for the rest of the day? Or does it feel, yeah, that's a big one. And I know that's very nuanced, because of course, a lot of us do enjoy starting our day with movement and it feels good. But if you didn't have it, would you be okay? Is the question. If you didn't have it, could you regulate yourself in other ways? Or another good question is, when I'm stressed or when I'm feeling overwhelmed, do I need exercise? Do I need that specifically in order to feel better? Is that my main tool? Is that all I have? I remember, and it's not that it's a bad tool. I mean, it can be a tool, but there are so many others. And when we're over relying on it, it's like, again, I think I've used this analogy before. Imagine like you have a tool belt and you look cool because you have a tool belt on you, okay? And your only tool is a hammer, and you just use it for everything. Whether you need to like screw something in or cut something off, you just use the hammer for everything. Bing, bang, 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 bang. There's limits to what it can do, which is why, exercise is not therapy. It's not the same thing. You need therapy and exercise, but they're not the same thing. They could be therapeutic, but not do you need it in order to be okay? Another sign, and this is like so common in fitness that it's almost like weird that I'm saying this, but do you feel the need to exercise to control your weight or your shape? Is that your main motive for exercising? I'm just going to hold space for that, because that's huge, right? We hear all the time, I need to lose weight. I need to go to the gym. I need to work out. Oh, I hate my body. I need to fix this. Oh, what exercises will make me lose my belly fat? Or how can I, sculpt this part of my body? How can I sculpt my legs or my arms? It's so associated. Exercise is so associated with changing our bodies, whether that's weight or shape, that it almost sounds ridiculous to ask this, but is that your main motive for exercising? Is that why you exercise? Is that something you feel like you have to do? Like, if you don't exercise, are you afraid of becoming a blob? If you don't exercise, are you afraid of losing everything, losing all of your muscles and all of your, bone density and progress or speed? Like, are you okay with taking, and a good question, again, same for the compulsive part, is like, or the regulation, all of this really is like, how long would you be okay with taking a break? And I know that's challenging, but like, what would come up for you if you did take a break? And then the last one is rigidity, like being real, not, it's a little different from compulsive. Compulsive feels like I have to do, I have to do. And rigidity is like, I will not change my plans if, like, if I have my workout scheduled every day at what such time, or every week at such time, nothing can get in the way. Like, I'll give up I'll give up my connecting with my family, I'll give up connecting with my friends, I'll give up social things. I'll like plan my life around my exercise routine. Like, I have to do it. I have to do it a certain way. Or I always have to do, like, for me, the other week, was it? I had some energy and I felt like I needed to get it out. And I just went for a short run. I ran 2 miles. And that was so good for me because in my past, my number was always 3 miles. 3 miles. I had to do 3 miles at least every single day. And that was my rigidity around exercise. So what's yours? Do you have it? Do you feel like you have to do something all the time in order to be okay? Or can you be more flexible? And again, what would happen if you let go of it? Right, so I'm going to give you 5 tips here. If you're like, ooh, yeah, some of this is, I'm feeling it, I'm feeling it. I'm going to give you 5 tips, and I'm not going to say that they're easy, but they are simple and they are possible. And if you really want change, like if you really want to let go of some of this rigidity or this compulsion or dependence on exercise, we have to make changes, right? We have to do something a little bit different. And I'm all about change. Change can be difficult and challenging, but it doesn't have to be. How can we make it as easy as possible? How can we make it as fun as possible? How can we make it as enjoyable as possible? Because when we do changes like that, it'll stick, it's easier, it's smoother, and it kind of goes against that whole, like, I need to work out harder, I need to grind. Like, how can we let go of that a little bit and loosen our grip and make it easier for us? So if you work with me, if you do any of my programs, you'll notice that that's a big theme. It's like enjoyment and pleasure and letting go. And that can be hard. I know it can be hard, but once you do it, it feels so good. It feels so good. You don't want to go back. And that's really, you got to trust. You got to trust. You got to be like, okay, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to jump into this water. I don't know it, but I've heard that it's good. I'm going to go into it. And then once you get in the water, it's like, oh, this is so wonderful. You know, like, if you've ever experienced that, like in a hot summer day, like the water might be cold or it might feel a little uncomfortable. I'm going to get wet. And then you go in and you're like, oh, this is so amazing. I feel so good. I felt like that when I went to Mazatlan in February. I just hung out by the beach like for a week, and the water was pretty chilly. And I was like, should I go in? I don't know. I'm going to be wet. I have to dry off and all that. And then once I went in the water, I was like, yes, this is what I'm here for. Oh, life is so good floating on the ocean. So let's go inside the water. It's a little bit cold. It might be a little bit cold. At first, it might feel a little comfortable, but we're going to move in it. And once we get in, it's going to feel so good. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. So number 1, I'm going to give you 5 things. Okay, 5 things. One is really find out what exercise is giving you. So this is a little bit more like introspective. What is exercise giving you? And maybe you can write it down, a list, like, what are all the things I love about exercise? And it's not a bad thing. It's not like you have to cross these things out or it's negative. Just like, what is it giving you? There's obviously benefits to it. What is it giving you? You can even like celebrate it instead of demonizing exercise and being like, I'm so bad, I need to give this up, I need to stop this. You can like really understand there's a reason that I like exercise. Maybe it gives you some routine. Maybe it gives you some alone time. Maybe it gives you a sense of euphoria. Maybe it gives you a feeling of success. I don't know. Find out, and you can even write down like specific exercises that you do and how they make you feel. Maybe it gives you a sense of control, and that's not necessary. That's not a bad thing. What is it giving you? And what feeling are you chasing? Like, are you chasing success? Are you chasing accomplishment? Are you chasing solitude? Are you chasing turning off your brain? What are you chasing? What are you wanting? And you can even add to this, what feelings are you avoiding? Like when you go in and work out, like what is scary to sit with, or what is scary to deal with, or is there an issue? And another question you can ask is, exercise really solving this for me long term? So maybe in the moment, yes, I do feel successful, or yes, I do feel accomplished, but I can also notice in a big picture sense, if I'm zooming out and seeing the big picture, that there's other factors at play that are coming up. Like, yeah, I feel successful, but also I feel like my body's gonna break and I feel really tired all the time. Or yes, I can feel a sense of like turning off my brain, but once I'm done with my workout, it all comes back. Or maybe it's a sense of, I'm so afraid that if I don't work out, my body is going to change. And it lasts for a little bit. The satisfaction lasts for a little bit. But once I'm done with my workout, I'm like, okay, now I have to plan my next workout, because if I don't keep this up, I'm just gonna devolve and everything's gonna fall apart. So get clear about what it's doing for you. Get clear on how it's benefiting you. And then also, is it actually giving you what you need long term in the big picture? If yes, cool. If not, some more exploration could be had. You could even book a coaching session with me and talk about this. You could talk with a therapist about this, perhaps. Find out what it's giving you. And of course, we have that biological component where it is helpful for our bodies, and there are other ways that we can connect and find joy in our bodies than just exercise, or emotional fulfillment beyond just exercise. So that's really like this first deep stuff. And if you can get clear on that, I'm sure it's going to give you a nice aha, a nice realization, and it's going to do a little bit of unshaming as well, where okay, it makes sense, I feel this way, there's nothing wrong with me. Okay, I'm going to tell you two more things. I'm going to tell you things more related to your environment and things more related to you personally. Okay, or maybe I have six. Cool, you get an extra, the bonus one. I'll say the last one is bonus. So 3 are a little bit more internal. 2 are practical. One more is internal. I'll start and finish with internal, and then there's some social things. Okay, so second one, move socially in an uplifting environment. I'm not just going to say go anywhere. I'm going to say in an uplifting environment. Do it socially. And I'll qualify that a little bit more. So we talked about the gym. That's a good episode. If you're considering going to the gym, you can listen to that. Do you even lift, bro? Check it out. Or maybe I should have changed it to bruh. Do you even lift, bruh? Okay, do it socially. So a lot of the times with exercise, especially if we're more on the obsessive or compulsive or rigid side, we don't want to exercise with other people. Why? Because it'll mess up our numbers, or we can't focus as much. And I can identify with this. I used to be someone who never really wanted to exercise with other people. I still love to exercise on my own, but I was against exercising with other people because it felt like it would intrude on the intensity that I was able to sustain, or it would intrude with the plan that I had. So people were annoying when it came to exercise. So you can challenge that by doing something different, and in a place that's uplifting. So not in a place that's really focused on numbers, or really focused on, competitiveness, especially if you do deal with more obsessive tendencies. Go somewhere where people will cheer on your progress, or where it's really, really, really okay to take the option that is less intense. In an uplifting environment where your body is being honored. And that can be healing because you can do it in a place with other people. So move socially, especially if you're someone who tends to move on your own in solitude. Next one I'm going to suggest is move in nature. And you might be like, yeah, I go run in nature, and I go I go on trails and stuff like that. That's great. Move as much as you can, especially if you are used to working out in a gym, or you are used to working even on trails. Can you go out a little bit, maybe go on a walk, even find a spot and do some stretching out in nature. And the reason for this is it will calm your nervous system more, especially you could be surrounded by trees, a beautiful environment. This is making me want to go on a walk right now. Move in nature. And our bodies are somehow, I don't know all of the science around it, all of the spirituality behind it, but our bodies are deeply connected to nature, which is why we feel so good because we are a part of nature. Both like literally spiritually, we're a part of nature, we're connected with everything. So when you move in nature, it can kind of turn off some of that obsessiveness if you can really connect with your environment. And that goes into my next 2 points. So find out what it's giving you. That's an internal thing. Do it socially in an uplifting environment. I'm not just going to say socially because there are places that are not helpful for mental health. And I gave you some pointers there. And then move in nature. And then let's look at what you can do, just you and you, okay? So in terms of our bodies and like nervous system regulation and stuff, slowing down is one of the best things you can do, especially if you are used to more like high intensity or needing to like chase a feeling, like almost like needing to get to that point where you need to vomit, or you like your heart rate goes super high and you're like you kind of go for the rush, or you feel like you need to be really tired in order for it to be good. Slow down. And I have a free guide, How to Enjoy Exercise, and I give you a little bit more explanation on how to do this, where to start and where to go from there. If you could follow that and like actually put that into practice, it could be super healing for your movement. So you can get the free guide at my website. It's like on the homepage, the Enjoy Exercise Guide. But one of the best things, and I do have an episode on this, slow the fuck down, slow down. And one way you can do this really consciously is when you're walking, just like intentionally slow down. And notice what comes up too. Like if you're used to being more high intensity or going for a certain distance or speed, you might think like, oh no, this is messing it up. I can't get to my goal this way. It's going to take me forever. Or, very goal focused. Just slow down and check in with how it feels. Like a walking meditation is super powerful for just getting in touch a little bit more with your body. I alternatively want to suggest as well to speed up. Sometimes if you are someone maybe who moves more slowly, or you're like a steady state person, like I know that this is big in running, like you need to get your 4 miles in or your 2 miles or whatever it is, and you just like go ju. I want to encourage you, sometimes the opposite can be true, like bringing some high intensity, as long as your heart is okay, as long as your body is well fueled and well slept enough. Speed it up just for a little bit. Doesn't mean that you have to go fast forever, but just like whatever you're doing, add a little bit of speed, add a little bit of intensity, and that can help you get in your body a little bit more. Add play to it, and whoo, that's great. So slow down or speed up. Gas pedal, whether like you're trying to make your ass fall off. Okay, so those are 2 practical things. And then the last one, I'm gonna just give you one more deeper thing before we get off, is shifting your identity. And this goes back to how our society perceives exercise, not just our biology, and our brains, but our society, which is a part of us being human. We live in a context. It's hard to let go of certain identities. And if you've identified as an athlete at some point in your history, if you were a part of a team or a part of a group, or you were well rewarded for accomplishing things in exercise as a child, it can be difficult to let go of that. And all in the opposite way, if you are someone who listening to this, who's like, I really want to be more consistent with exercise, I want to, for my health, like I just want to move more and it's hard for me, this can be helpful for you too. Like start identifying as someone who regularly moves even before the actions take place. Start identifying. If you can identify with it, your actions will naturally follow. Our identity is the crucial part of change, and I talked about that one permanent change. Start here. Go to that episode and it will give you some important perspectives around identity and consciousness. But shift your identity so you can say, and this is about holding space for both, so you can even say, I am someone who identifies as an athlete and still knows how to listen to my body. Or I am someone who exercises regularly and still is okay if I miss or when I don't exercise. You can fill in the blank. I am someone who, and I'll try to fill it in for myself. Okay, I am someone who is a professional in exercise, and still I am okay when I don't have the perfect regimen, or when I am resting, or when I am not exercising. I am someone who loves movement and still knows that it can have its appropriate place in my life. So what would it be for you? I am someone who, and still blah, blah, blah. And this goes to like DBT stuff. If you've ever done therapy and DBT, it's like holding space for both, and like I can be this and I can be this. And that expands our capacity to just hold space for multiple seemingly opposing ideas. And that can help. So I am someone who has been an athlete, or I identify as being an athlete, and I prioritize listening to my body. So I hope that even hearing this, especially giving you some pointers and tips, and I know there's so many more. I could give you probably 10 more that would be helpful for you. And again, if you want to redo your movement, you could hear all this stuff. And the reason, like, I've asked myself this too, is like, I'm giving information on podcasts. People can find information on YouTube. People can find all this stuff on Google. Like, information is not really what we're deficit in. It's connection, which is why I try to give you stories and try to connect with you personally, because I mean, I'm a human and you're a human, and hello, hi. And we can know all the things, but where we really find change is when we do it in a context with other people and in a community, and we put ourselves in spaces where change is encouraged and change is even maybe required. So that's the value. I could give you every single thing in my programs for free. I could give you every single thing. You can find all the information, but the value is in you investing in yourself. The value is in you committing and choosing, and the value is in you connecting. Connecting. We can make some C's there. Committing, connecting, and having that container, another C, here we go, that container that holds you in it, where it is safe to make those changes. So that's the value, okay? That's the value in doing, you could do 30-day, well, let me give it to you, okay? I'm just gonna give it to you because I have it based on time. So we've got the 24-hour health reset, and that's, these programs are all focused on food, exercise, your body, 24-hour, just like, I just want a quick reset this week. Like, I need to slow down. I need to reconnect with my body. I'm just going to do this for the next 24 hours. You don't even need to like wipe out your schedule. You can have your normal schedule and still implement this as little or as much as you want. That's a quick reset. And then we have the 30-day radical renewal. And this is 30 days, 4 weeks. And you focus on different aspects. You focus on your relationship with yourself, your relationship with exercise, your relationship with food, and your relationship with others. And it all comes together to support you in really shifting your perspective. So like, imagine what you can accomplish in 30 days in the next month. And that will definitely help you. You'll come out on the other side feeling more bright and more clear and more excited about your future in health and fitness. And then of course, the 4-H method. This is where I've put, and I am continue to put all of my heart and work and learnings in here. It's where you get to really connect with a community, and it's not just like a one and done thing or like a start and finish thing. You can stay there forever. And once you're a hero, you're always a healthy hero, and you make your body your home and create your own healthy hero journey. And we really go into a longer period of time focusing on movement and food and your body. And it never ends. It's just, we learn more and more each time. So I don't like the idea of change having I know we like numbers, and 24 hours is great, 30 days is great, but change is continual. We're always changing. And how do we want to change? And being in a safe space and connection with others, where you have that structure, you have that container, you have that connection, you have that community, and that commitment can be super valuable. So check it out, emmaroscoe.com, and all the links are in the show notes. But I ultimately hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that it de-shamed some aspects, and instead of it being like something is wrong with me, I need to fix it, more of that makes sense, and I really do want to heal, and I want to be better. I want to feel better in my body. I want to feel better with exercise. I don't want to have to need it. I don't want to have to do it in order to feel okay. I'm tired of this. Like, I want a better way. I hope that this was helpful, and I know that it's not always easy, but it's simple, and we can try to make it as easy as possible. So you can ask yourself, how would this look if it were easy, and do that. I missed a point after all of this. I had the little bow tied and everything. Okay, so I'm going to give you the bonus one. I gave you 5, but I missed one in the middle. This is me, and that's okay. I'm not going to edit this out. I'm just going to give it to you. Okay, the middle one, I forgot. Okay, so we got find out what it's giving you, do it socially in an uplifting environment, move in nature, and I gave you slow down or speed up, gas pedal, and then shift your identity. But there was one more in the middle. And this one, I think, might be the hardest. This one might be the hardest. Are you ready? I was saving the hardest for last after I gave you all the whole spiel about it being easy. Okay, but I will give it to you because this can be really helpful. Take off your fucking tracker. Take off your watch. Take off the steps and take off the distance. Go for a walk and don't even know. Take off your watch. Don't know what time it is. Don't know how long you're going. Go with how you feel. Take off your tracker next time you run and don't even know how fast you're going. Take off your tracker and your heart response. Those things can be fun, but go for a little bit without doing them. And that's gonna be so hard for you, especially if you rely on numbers a lot, or you need to like fill in your boxes or do the 10,000 steps or whatever. But it's like going into that water. I'm telling you, it's a little bit cold at first, but once you get in, it feels so good. It feels so good. There's something so empowering about just not even caring about your distance, not caring about how many calories you're burning or whatever measurement you're using, and just moving and feeling in your body. That's what it's going to help you do. It's going to help you feel in your body more, about checking in. Oh, the answer is no longer, am I eating or am I doing enough? Did I hit my numbers? Did I hit my goals? Okay, I did enough. The question is, oh, how does this feel? Same with food. Like taking out the calories, taking off those macro goals or whatever. You can actually listen to yourself and slow down and listen. Okay, so there's the bonus one. If you do this, if you do any of these things, please brag to me about it. Message me on Instagram, email me, michelle@mlroscoe.com. It's all in the show notes. Brag about it to me. Let me celebrate you. And even better, do it in the 24-hour health reset or 30-day radical renewal or 4-H method. You're so welcome. You're so invited. I'm going to peace out. And I plan later to move in nature, and maybe I'll take off my watch. That sounds good. If you do it, I'll do it. If I do it, you'll do it? Okay. I'll talk to you later.